Hello everybody, I'm Doug Wright, and this is Sports Done Right for the month of July 2024. One of the great European leaders of the World War II era and beyond was Winston Churchill, who was Prime Minister during England's darkest hours and yet rallied the citizenry to resist invasion and fight on to ultimate victory. He has been quoted as saying, "Healthy citizens are the greatest asset any country can have." Those among us who are familiar with his lifestyle will find this quote somewhat ironic. But the residents of Sun City continue to work hard to stay active and healthy. We begin this month with Director of Golf Operations Charlie Kent discussing the renovations to be made to the Okatee Creek Golf Course in 2025 and the concomitant 6-month closure of the course.
Well, Charlie, we're sitting out here on a beautiful spring day outside the clubhouse at Hidden Cypress, and I wanted to talk to you and find out about the plans for Okatee Golf Club.
Oh, well, great to have you here, Doug. It is a beautiful morning here at Hidden Cypress. Well, recently the board approved the Okatee Creek golf course renovation, including the practice areas, and we're super excited. Finally, we're going to get something done as far as renovation work goes. So what we have planned is to have a contractor come in next spring, starting March 31st, and should run all the way through September 30th, so it's 6 months. They will go in and core out the greens and kind of rebuild the greens from about 6 inches deep, putting a new grass Tiff Eagle, which is what we have here at Hidden Cypress. Also, by doing this, we're going to reestablish the original size of the greens.
Which is larger or smaller?
Well, they will be larger. Yeah, it'll be larger. So there'll be more pinnable, we call that pinnable locations on the greens. Bigger targets for everyone, which is always nice. Then we're going to be redoing the fairways. They'll be regrassed with Celebration. We're going to be adding 2 to 3 inches of sand, so that'll be mixed into the fairway mix and then sprigged with Celebration. Celebration is a turf that is very popular in our area nowadays. It's a little more shade tolerant, and also is pretty. It holds up pretty well with golf cart traffic. What we're really looking forward to is the addition of significant drainage that we're going to be putting out there. So literally from the tee box all the way up to the greens, we're going to be adding thousands of feet of drainage out there. And we're confident that we're going to be able to cut our cart path only days in half, if not more.
That'd be spectacular.
Well, it's going to be great to get the golf course back for most of our folks to be able to enjoy. And, there is a return on the investment of putting in this drainage. We also included the entrance and the exits to the fairways with drainage. So on a soggy day, carts will be able to get out there onto the fairways. We also have planned to regrass and laser level all of the tee boxes. And we are adding an orange tee box, an official orange tee box that'll be leveled out for those users out there. So that's the scope of what the golf course is going to have done. And then when you move over to the practice areas, the current putting green will get renovated. And over at the range itself, we're going to be adding approximately 50% more tee box space. And then we'll be reconfiguring the how the practice greens are over there as well. We also have planned to widen the existing cart path. Actually, we're going to rip that junk out and put in a brand new wide cart path and add in kind of a gravel parking area up underneath the trees. So that'll be a really great experience for those who just like to practice.
Okay, that sounds terrific. And now, have you all got everything in place in terms of hiring a contractor and being ready to go?
So, I'm going to just tout the company I work for, Troon, a little bit here. The way it works is our director of golf course agronomy, Ron Despain, who's been here a few times to speak to our golfers. Ron is the gatekeeper of millions and millions of jobs or dollars of jobs in the country, and a contractor wants to be on Ron's list. And in order to be on Ron's list, you have to do good work. So we had 6 companies submit a bid for the job here. They're all vendors that Troon has used in the Southeast, and they all want to do a good job, and they have 6 companies competing for the best price. So we really, truly benefit by having good work at a great price, and that's what we look forward to.
Now, you probably haven't completed your plans yet for next summer, but with the increasing population here at Sun City, it's going to cause a little bit of a strain on tee times. And do you have any thoughts on that yet, or are you going to develop those?
So we do have thoughts on that. Right now, the Golf Advisory Committee, as well as myself and Rick Barnes, we're having meetings that have started. We've had them in past years, so we have a good plan. We just want to finalize that and submit the recommendations to the board of directors for their final approval. Once that occurs, we'll be able to announce our planned for how we're going to manage the tee times for next year. We really want to maximize the usage here at Hidden Cypress and at Argent. So, that information will come out either late summer or early fall. We'll get all that information out plenty time for folks to decide on golf plans and so forth for next year. So,
well, you got a lot ahead of you, that's for sure. I want to change the subject on you a little bit. This coming weekend is going to be a very exciting one, as always, for Hidden Cypress and yourself. Could you describe what's going to happen?
Yes, we are hosting for the 3rd year in a row Adaptive Golf Clinic. It'll be at the Hidden Cypress Driving Range this Saturday. From 9 to 11, it is open to our residents here. We do ask that you go to the adaptivegolfexperience.org website and to register. We really don't want you to just show up, so we need you to register that you're coming. But it's tremendous outreach that this program has touched so many lives in our area. There's some great stories of some of our own residents who have been able to return to golf because of the type of equipment they get introduced to at this clinic.
Well, we hope to be here, and we'll be looking at some of that equipment and talking to you again, and perhaps some others, Steve Giamona. And it's a wonderful program. I just covered recently a pickleball military adaptive court sports.
Huh.
So that concept is spreading throughout sports, all over the place.
Well, that's part of the fabric of living in Sun City is trying to stay active as long as possible. And we're finding that this equipment can keep somebody or bring somebody back into golf. We have special carts that can help stabilize somebody who doesn't quite have the balance that they used to. We also have special chairs that if somebody is restricted to a wheelchair, we have a cart that can actually stand them up and enable them to take a swing at a golf ball again. So it truly is something to see a person hit a golf ball for the first time in years, it doesn't leave them. And we all love that feeling of hitting a good golf shot.
Well, Charlie, it's a wonderful program. That's all I can say. We hope to see you this weekend. Is there anything else that you can think of you'd like to add about the Okatee renovation?
Well, I know there's a lot of folks out there that are nervous about not being able to get a tee time, and certainly we are going to do our best to accommodate. But, I think by the board making a commitment this early, it's really given folks an idea and a plan that they can start working on, whether it be maybe extensive travel next summer or a golf trip. I plan on putting together another trip to Ireland. In fact, I'm taking a group of residents next month to Ireland for the third summer in a row. So we'll look at doing things like that, maybe add another trip or two. So that's what I really commend the board for, letting us know this far early so we can all make good, sound plans.
Well, that sounds terrific. And Charlie, as always, we thank you for your time. We know that you and your staff do a great job here. Courses are in wonderful condition, and we'll look forward to adaptive golf here this weekend.
Well, Doug, thank you for your support. Appreciate it.
Let's look back on a state championship tennis team from Sun City to see how it happened and what comes next.
Well, Mike, you're standing here with a quite accomplished team. Tell us basically what you did.
Well, we're the 3-0 55-plus men's from Sun City. We won our division, and then we went down to states this past weekend, and we had 2 flights. We won our flight 9-0. We beat every team that we went on every court, and then we won the finals 2-1 against a Hilton Head team.
Now, this was at Shipyard?
Yes, the final games were at Shipyard.
Well, why don't we introduce the team?
David Streck, Chuck Hasenauer, John Harden, Mark McCurdy, Jerry Woods, Tom Bloxam, Larry Byrie, David Cougar, and Mike Ryan.
So when did you start your journey here? Was it over a series of weeks, or what was that all about?
Well, the season went for about 3 months, 3.5 months. And then the finals the states were down on Hilton Head over a 3-day period. But we had 1 day of complete rain, so we were forced to play 3 games on Monday.
3 matches.
3 matches. We had to do 12, 4, and 6 o'clock. So
Wow, that's pretty strenuous, I would say.
everybody was a little tired, but excited when we got done.
Well, heck yeah. And so what happens now?
Well, now we're, I think everybody from what I found out today has already booked their rooms in Pelham, Alabama in September. 13th through the 16th is called the sectionals. So I don't know, I'm not sure where we go from there, but we'll take one step at a time.
Well, good. And that's quite an accomplishment. And is this your first championship?
First one to get to sectionals, yes.
Oh, that's terrific. Anything else that you want to add about outstanding performances or who you played?
It's just a great team. I mean, it was amazing as we were going through the championship game. It was almost like being back in high school. Everybody was all really hyped and really happy, and most of the wives were there. They were joining in, so it was a great time by all.
Now, how did you pick your team?
Mark and I have been working on this for, 3 years, Mark?
Pretty much.
Yeah, for 3 years. And we thought we had it last year, but we ended up with an injury and someone being out of town and just couldn't pull it off. But this year we had enough, and everybody came through.
And what's your background in tennis?
Here, I haven't played. I used to play back in my 20s. Hadn't played till I showed up here in my 60s. So just picked it up here.
Okay, well, we thank you for your time today, guys. Terrific accomplishment. Very proud of you, and way to represent Sun City.
David Streck, Chuck Hasenauer, John Harden, Mark McCurdy, Jerry Woods, Tom Bloxam, Larry Byrie, David Cougar, and Mike Ryan.
The Volleyball Club held an open house last month, and reporter Chris Chase attended to speak to Rick Hull and find out how to get involved.
So, Rick, volleyball. Yes. Everybody loves volleyball, including me. I just signed up for the water volleyball. Right. Tell me a little bit about what they're doing here today.
Well, today we're having our open house, but it's typical Saturday for us. It's Saturdays at 9 a.m. We start off with our court volleyball, and the members sign up on our Team Reach app, and everybody shows up at 9 a.m. and we play some volleyball. Some competitively, and some it's for fun primarily, but everybody's here to play the sport.
Now, you have different age groups, too, ranging from what to what?
Yeah, well, we play a co-ed game, and, boy, the ages of our club probably ranges from late 50s to early 80s. We have a gentleman in his early 80s that strong volleyball player. Like the rest of us, we all don't move like we used to, but he's got skills, and he plays very well. Yeah.
Speaking of not moving like you used to, I signed up for water volleyball. Could you tell me a little bit about what I can expect?
Yeah, well, our water volleyball is it's more fun. We don't take it, rules-wise with volleyball, we don't take it as seriously. Get the ball over the net, however you can do it. And we don't expect people to have to hit the ball over the net. If they don't have the skill to do that, they can throw the ball over the net. So it's a back and forth. It can be a raucous game, but it's more for fun, where the rules are not followed that much, where it's a little more serious rules-wise. We follow that here on the court.
Now, do you have any where we go out of Sun City to play other teams?
We've only done that from the standpoint of the senior games, the South Carolina senior games, and we typically do that in May every year. That's when that happens. And, we've had some great games at that event. Yeah.
That's excellent. Now, if you want to play here, this is New River, which I just found out.
Park, right? Yeah, New River Sports Park, where behind the baseball field, where the pickleball courts are and the volleyball court.
Now, what about water?
Water's at Lake House during the summer season. I think we get out there April 1st through the end of October. And then we move into the Perrysburg indoor pool for the winter season. So we play water volleyball all year round. We play court volleyball all year round. 3 days a week here, Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, and then Saturday mornings. And then water volleyball at the Lake House is Mondays and Fridays, evenings, 5 p.m. And then we typically are Mondays and Saturdays in Perrysburg in the wintertime.
Renee, how many members do you have in the club?
Oh, we have about 57 households and about 97 playing members.
Wow, there's quite a few. Now, what do you enjoy the most about this? Because you glow when I talk about it.
I love the people. Truthfully, the people make this club what it is today. We have ranges of ages that they all bring with them a different experience level. And everybody's willing to teach someone else. And it's just a wonderful club. We have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and we enjoy the game.
Well, that's the most important thing, is everybody has fun and enjoys it. I'm sure the volleyball club is it.
We do. Court is pretty serious play. It can be, sometimes it's more recreational, but water volleyball is definitely recreational, and we get a lot of people at the pool watching us and egging us on, so we have a lot of fun with it.
Continuing our profiling of successful and interesting residents of Sun City, we spoke at length to Fred Pinciaro about his avocation and career highlights in a niche area of the sporting world.
Well, Fred, you've had quite an interesting career, and we're going to find out a little bit about that today. And just for background purposes, where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Ohio. I was born in Steubenville, Ohio, and moved years later. Spent most of my adult life in Virginia.
Okay, Northern Virginia?
Northern Virginia. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what got you interested in the art of kicking?
Well, I have to say it was my son. He wasn't a big kid, but he was a really good athlete. So in soccer, I noticed he had a pretty strong leg. So we were living in Atlanta at the time, And so I went over to Georgia Tech to talk to Coach Curry that was there and their kicker to learn a little bit more about it. But what got me interested was my son and his ability to kick.
Oh, well, that's a good story. And then, of course, you somehow got involved with a whole series, a whole slew, I'll say, of athletes from high school all the way through the pros. Who was your first real client? Bill Curry's kickers, or?
No, not really. I actually learned from Curry's kickers. I try to learn as much as I could, and some of the kids, if that's what you're looking for, some of the kids that I started with, start with Shane Graham. We used to run high school camps and college camps. So our high school camps we'd do up at Lehigh University in Pennsylvania, and then we backed that right up with all the kids that we were coaching from different colleges all around, from Division I to Division III.
Now, were there other kicking coaches at these camps?
Oh yeah, we had quite a few kids, so we needed a lot of coaches. And what was unique about our coaching is that we had a curriculum, and if you were a coach, we wouldn't use athletes like a lot of camps will use high school athletes or college athletes. You were actually going to have somebody that coached you. So if you moved around from me to another coach, you got the same instruction. I said some of the athletes got drafted, like Josh Brown. He got drafted by the Seahawks. Neil Rackers in the 6th round. Neil Rackers got drafted by the Cardinal. No, he got drafted by the Bengals. So all the different kids that I coached primarily place kickers, and punters, like you'll see. We've talked about the Steve Weatherford was a punter. Jeremy Kapanos played with the Steelers. He was a punter. But Josh Brown was one of my main guys. Neil Rackers, Shane Graham. Shane Graham was Cincinnati. Connor Barth was with Tampa. There's more that I can think of.
Well, you don't have to name them all. That's one of the good things.
Yeah.
And how long you been in Sun City?
Been here going on 13 years.
Does it continue, your kicking, coaching?
It did continue. When I first came down here, I was a little bit concerned because I had no place to kick. So I befriended the high school coach over at Bluffton High School, and I sort of did a trade-off with him. I said, if you let me bring my kids over here to train, I'll coach your kickers. So that's sort of the relationship. So I ended up coaching at Bluffton High School for probably 3 years.
And do you have any preference, not preference, but do you have any clue as to who may have been the best kicker you ever worked with?
Put me on the spot there.
Yeah, I know. You know, they're not watching this.
No, yeah. The best kicker I ever worked with. They were all good. They wouldn't be where they were.
Yeah.
But there's one stand out for me in front of that's a hard question because they're all good. They wouldn't be where they were, where they're playing. So, and making the kind of money they're making.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do you make what, millions of dollars doing this?
Yeah. No. I get tickets to games.
Okay, that's good.
I get free transportation because sometimes I have to travel to sites like the Seahawks. We worked at the Seahawks facility. We worked at the Cardinals facility. We worked at Tampa Bay facility. So I get taken in there, and they're pretty good to me.
Well, good. That's excellent enough. Now, what's the most, I'll call it quirky or interesting thing that's happened to you in your career with kickers?
I'll give you a punter story. This is a high school story. We were in a state championship playing up at Clemson, and the Clemson of the team we were playing, from another high school team, had a really good running back, ended up going to South Carolina to play. So we told him, our punter, whatever you do, don't punt to number 3.
Yeah.
First punt he hits to number 3.
Right
they return it for a
right there,
touchdown.
right.
So we tell him again, don't kick to number 3. He punts it again, number 3, another touchdown. So that didn't work too well. He was in a bad place that day.
So you've named a lot of names, and you've worked with a lot of people, and tell us a little bit about each one in 10, 15 seconds as what their strengths are, and then I'll ask you a real hard question.
Okay. What each of their strengths were, well, they differed. And we would analyze by game what mistake they made. I had one situation where Rackers was playing in the playoffs in New Orleans, and he was having an issue with the ball pushing the ball off to the right. Well, I could see it on TV what he was doing, so we set up for the next game. We set up a little system where I would call his cell phone, which was on the sidelines, and tell him what I saw, and he would try to fix it from there. We didn't have to do that. He initially wanted me to call his wife, who was in the stands right behind the bench, and so we didn't do that either.
Okay.
So there's all a bunch of different stories. One of them, we were out riding around, and
Excuse me.
one of them wanted to ride my motorcycle, and it was Josh Brown with the Seahawks at the time, and he went out on my motorcycle with my daughter, and they had a little fender bender, so they had to push the bike back up the hill. So I was worried about the headlines on the newspaper on that. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you are touted as being very good at working on the mental aspect of the game with these kickers, and we all know you have to be really tough-minded to kick, in, especially in the NFL where there's a lot of dollars on the line. And tell us a little bit about how you felt qualified to do that, and who you've worked with on the mental aspect more.
Probably Brett Bowden, who's a punter for Tampa, on the mental aspect of it. But kicking is all about mental. You have to be able to stay focused. You've got 1.3 seconds to get the ball off, so you got to really stay focused. What we would do, an example would be, one of my guys got cut with the Cardinals, and he was sort of in a lame duck, and we were in St. Louis. So we used a lot of sports psychologists.
Uh-huh.
So we would sit with a sports psychologist, and we would go over what we felt, or he did anyway, felt that was bothering this particular kicker. And his issue was it's just confidence in himself because he'd been released. And anyway,
that's got to be shattering.
And that's a tough thing to do, to sit back. But he got right back up and bounced back up and ended up being picked up by the Texans. So
Okay.
it worked out pretty well.
And you said you're still doing this a little bit with high school kids and so forth.
Not much anymore. I did over at Bluffton, like I said, because I had facility there. I did also use Hilton Head Prep as a place. But as you get older, it's hard for me to stand on those sidelines.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of backed away from it a little bit. I do go up to, or I'm going to go up to North Carolina. A friend of mine kicked with the Vikings. Runs a really good camp up there.
Okay.
So I'll go up and help him out.
So you're well known around the league.
Yeah, I guess people know who I am in the kicking game.
Okay, well, Fred, I really appreciate you taking some time today and sharing with us a rather unique niche in pro sports and the college and high school. And we'll look forward to talking to you again when one of your kickers wins the Super Bowl.
Oh, I would like to see that happen, yeah. That would be really good.
The charitable activities which play such a large part of our residents' lives were not neglected in June. Hidden Cypress hosted an annual visit from the Beaufort-based Adaptive Golf Experience, and speaking of Beaufort, the annual Dragon Boat Beaufort sponsored races were held June 29th. We'll have extended coverage of these events in August. One final word. Sir Winston's admonition about healthy citizens remains true today. And I'm happy to report that the residents of Sun City have bought in, even though Sir Winston may not have. That's our show for July 24. I'm Doug Wright. I'll see y'all next month on Sports Done Right.